This is United Network News with Sunny Galt, Calen Gipp, Kimberly Gogan, and our field messengers from around the world. Here's today's real news.
It's Wednesday, October 15th, 2025, and here are today's stories. Who's really cashing in on crime? From private corporations to prison gangs, there's an entire underground economy built on punishment, and it's worth billions. That flawless gel manicure might come with a hidden cost. A new EU ban has exposed shocking links between common nail polish ingredients and serious health risks. It's not just pesticides. Across America's farmland, chemical fertilizers are quietly poisoning water, polluting air, and threatening public health. Rugged cliffs, ocean plunges, cozy saunas, and one very famous yellow fish. A visit to the Faroe Islands reveals a mix of natural wonder and small-town charm you won't find anywhere else. Move over, Michael Phelps. Meet the horse who swam across the San Francisco Bay and beat Olympic athletes to shore. It's a heartwarming story of courage, waves, and one unforgettable swim. In one of the world's busiest cities, cats rule the streets and the hearts of locals. Discover how these furry, free spirits became cultural icons, guardians, and the soul of Istanbul itself. Have you ever thought about who's actually making money off the prison system? Turns out a lot of people are, from private contractors to organized crime gangs, and even some inmates. There's a whole economy built around prisons. Meanwhile, the world spends billions punishing offenders, often with little to show for it, but more crime and dwindling hope. For-profit companies have managed prisons since the 1980s in countries like the US, UK, Mexico, and Brazil, a trend many nations resist due to public accountability concerns. In the US alone, the government annually pours more than $3.9 billion into private prisons, as per the latest data from the Prison Policy Initiative. These operators also profit significantly from essential services like food, healthcare, and telecommunications. Prices for these services, including phone calls costing families up to $16 for 15 minutes, can be inflated by as much as 600%. In many cases, private prisons prioritize profits over the well-being of prisoners, leading to inhumane conditions and inadequate resources for rehabilitation. To keep the profits flowing, many private prison contracts even include minimum occupancy clauses and engage in aggressive political lobbying. These clauses demand states keep a high percentage of prison beds filled or face financial penalties for empty ones, directly incentivizing governments to incarcerate more people and perpetuating mass incarceration.
This is America's hidden growth industry. In any given day, America detains thousands. A third of those beds belong to Geo Group. The private prison industry is reliant on contracts, and ICE made up 41% of Geo's revenue last year, roughly $1 billion. That's a vendor concentration on par with a defense contractor. And the market's priced it in. Geo stock jumped 65% after Trump's re-election, signaling investors see detention as a growth sector, especially when the One Big Beautiful Bill lifted ICE's budget from $8 billion to $83 billion. Geo investors told it could double its headcount, and at $90 a bed per day, that's $500 million in new annual revenue. And in this industry, margins expand through labor. At Tacoma, detainees earn $1 per day. Courts estimate that the company saves millions annually on payroll by replacing staff with prisoners. The problem here is that to most Americans, detention is invisible. Few realize tens of thousands of people are confined every day. And the business of prison extends beyond the walls. Buses and flights move people across the country and across borders. And yet, yet almost no one talks about it. For society at large, the machinery of detention operates out of sight and mind. All the while, detention keeps expanding, but the growth isn't visible to most people, even though the cost should be. $90 a day per detainee, plus transport, plus surveillance, the vast majority of it comes from taxpayers. Towns see contracts, investors see recurring revenue, but for the rest of us, it's quietly embedded in the federal budget. We all pay the bill, we just never see the receipt.
Drug dealing is big business in prisons, where inflated prices make it highly profitable. The easy access to drugs tempts people, even those who have undergone treatment, which fuels addiction and leads to more violence, self-harm, bullying, and chaos. This lucrative trade is often controlled by organized crime gangs who run extensive criminal enterprises from within prisons, including drug trafficking and extortion. These groups generate significant income by smuggling contraband like drugs and phones, which they then sell at inflated prices. For example, in places like El Salvador, gangs such as MS-13 have historically used prisons as a base to extort money from the public. In the U.S., race-based gangs like the Aryan Brotherhood profit from drug trafficking and scams involving prison supplies. The flood of drugs in England and Wales prisons is disrupting the system and making it harder to reduce reoffending.
British prisons are absolutely riddled with drugs from top to bottom. It's much easier to get hold of drugs in prison than it is on the outside. And you really have to go and want to actually experience the madness of it firsthand. In a lot of cases, the prisons themselves supply the drugs. A lot of people go into prison with heroin addictions and they're prescribed drugs to combat those heroin addictions. And those drugs themselves are then used by other prisoners to get high. So Subutex is a big one. Lots of people are given Subutex and they don't take it, they sell it to other people who crush it up and snort it. You have drugs like pregabalin, which is a painkiller. A lot of prisoners are prescribed this, and of course these painkillers are abused. Obviously spice is a major problem in prisons. It's very popular because it doesn't show up on piss tests and it's exceptionally potent, and you can take it in small doses and just get knocked out for the entire day. Spice obviously fuels violence. It also fuels huge medical problems, like people collapse on spice all the time. It's called spice attacks. And a lot of it involves corrupting officers and members of staff. I think an ounce of spice costs about 150 to 200 pounds on the outside. On a prison wing, it's worth about £2,500. A lot of prison officers or civilian staff who work in jails are paid barely above minimum wage. So if you go to people like that and offer them thousands of pounds a week to take in a few handfuls of drugs, it's very difficult for them to say no.
Prison labor is another major revenue source for prisons and private companies. Yet incarcerated workers have almost no labor rights and are paid very little, if anything, for often dangerous, exploitative work. Corporations save millions while these workers earn minimal wages, leading critics to label it modern-day slavery, as refusing to work can result in punishment. Through programs like the Prison Industry Enhancement Certification Program, private businesses profit immensely. They often deduct up to 80% of workers' wages and frequently disregard minimal labor standards, according to the American Civil Liberties Union. This system not only exploits incarcerated individuals, but also negatively impacts local economies. The global prison population is increasing, according to the United Nations. With so many different groups making a profit from incarceration, makes you wonder if prisons are really about rehabilitation or just business. And if it's all about profit, who is truly paying the price? It's not just the individuals who are behind bars, it's also their families and communities. What if your favorite beauty ritual was quietly exposing you to chemicals linked to cancer, hormone disruption, and even fertility problems? That's the concern behind a new European Union ban on a key ingredient found in gel nail polish, and it's sparking a bigger conversation about what's really hiding in the products so many of us use every day. In September 2025, the EU officially banned trimethylbenzoyl diphenyl phosphine oxide, better known as TPO. This tongue twister of a chemical is what helps gel polish harden under UV or LED light, giving nails that long-lasting, glossy finish. The problem? Animal studies have linked TPO to reproductive harm and fertility issues, which prompted regulators to pull the plug. While gel manicures themselves aren't banned, any polish containing TPO can no longer be sold in Europe, although there are no US restrictions. Still, the EU's decision is a reminder that beauty products can come with hidden risks most of us never think about.
The European Union just banned TPO, a chemical so toxic that it's linked to infertility, cancer, and hormone disruption. TPO is what makes gel nail polish cure under UV light. So every time people paint their nails, this stuff has been sitting right there, seeping into their system. It is a step in the right direction, but it's only one ingredient. Nail polish is still a cocktail of endocrine disruptors that no one talks about. If one chemical is dangerous enough to ban, what does that say about the rest? So yeah, you're banned TPO, but the real question is, what is still left in the bubble?
TPO is only one piece of the puzzle. For years, experts have raised concerns about the so-called toxic trio: formaldehyde, toluene, and dibutyl phthalate, or DBP. Formaldehyde, once used in nail hardeners, is a known carcinogen that can also trigger asthma-like reactions and skin allergies. Toluene, a solvent that makes polish smooth, has been linked to headaches, dizziness, and even developmental risks during pregnancy. DBP, added to make polish flexible, has been tied to hormone disruption and reproductive problems in animal studies. Many nail products contain chemicals that irritate skin and negatively impact your overall health. From the building blocks of gel and acrylic nails to pigments that may carry trace metals, plus the strong fumes in removers and adhesives, what seems like a simple beauty routine can expose you to a surprising mix of potentially harmful substances.
There's no such a thing as non-toxic nail polish on the market. All the terms like 7-free, 10-free, 16-free, vegan, natural, they're all marketing buzzwords the manufacturers are using as the awareness about the toxicity of these things is rising.
We think of our nails as these little tough, sturdy things, and they are to a certain degree. Our nails are made of keratin, a tough but fibrous protein, so it makes the nails resilient, but not permeable. Anything you put on your nails will be absorbed into your bloodstream. Triphenyl phosphate, or TPP, is a especially questionable ingredient, and it doesn't have to be listed on the ingredient list of the nail polish. However, it has been found in 49% of the 3,000 nail polishes that are listed on the EWG's website. TPP is a chemical that many companies use in things to make them less flammable, such as foam seating, beddings, and electronics. But in the nail polish, they are used to make the paint stick better to the nail. And researchers have found this substance in pregnant women and in international samples of breast milk. While the short-term and more acute reactions include breathing difficulties and skin rashes, the long-term and frequent exposure to toxins in nail polish can lead to things like hormone disruption and even cancer. It's really time to ditch the toxic nail polish, no matter how many pretty labels it has on the bottle, whether it's vegan, natural, or 27 free.
The best way to protect yourself from these dangerous chemicals is to stay informed. Read ingredient labels, ask your salon what products they use, and look for safer, less toxic options when possible. Also, giving your nails breaks between manicures and ensuring good ventilation at home or in the salon can also make a difference.
Tired before the day begins? NAD Plus levels drop 50% after 40. NAD Plus helps your cells bounce back, fast. Most supplements give precursors. N80 Plus skips the breakdown, delivering direct, bioavailable power. Support your energy, metabolism, sleep, and stress levels at the cellular level. Join the N80 Plus revolution. Start your journey to a healthier you. Subscribe today.
Hey, I'm Kirsten from Switzerland.
This is Wayne from Tucson.
Hi, my name is Desmond from Ghana.
I am Claudia from Dawsonville, Georgia. I'm Marky from Pretoria, South Africa.
Hi, I'm Steve McGrath, Fort McMurray, Alberta, Canada.
People from all around the world are coming together.
Happy day, beautiful world. We are here in a rather small urban garden, and this video is just to show you the joys that we've had in this garden with the electric gardening.
When news happens in their area, they show us what's really going on.
We have people in the streets protesting for and against.
At United Network News, our field messengers are changing the face of news.
This is Field Messenger Helen reporting with Nature, and I'm going to talk to you about the bees again.
Take the next step in restoring our planet. Become a UNN Field Messenger today.
Hi, I'm Stephanie from South Africa. If it's going to be, it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to me. It's up to me.
It's up to me. It's up to me.
It's up to me.
It's up to all of us. We're UNN, and we're taking back the news.
Iowa, like many farming regions in the United States, faces severe pollution from pesticides and chemical fertilizers. Pesticides such as glyphosate and Roundup are linked to cancer and other illnesses, and we've talked about this before. However, even more concerning is the widespread use of chemical fertilizers, which contaminate the water and air with little regulation. This growing issue is highlighted in a recent 2-year study on water pollution in Iowa, which has sparked significant controversy. The study directly implicates the state's powerful farming industry, tying its practices to water pollution and serious health risks. Every year, farmers apply billions of pounds of nitrogen to their fields, much of which converts to nitrate. This nitrate seeps into drinking water supplies, causing severe health problems such as cancers, birth defects, and blue baby syndrome. According to a 2024 report from the Iowa Cancer Registry, the state already has the second highest and rising cancer rate in the U.S.
We have been struggling with high nitrate levels in our source water.
It could be farm runoff, fertilization, number of things.
We have what was at one time the largest nitrate removal facility in the world, and unfortunately, even that wasn't able to keep up with the level of nitrate that we're seeing in the rivers.
Nitrogen pollution is a big problem in Iowa. It's dangerous for people and for the environment, but there's also a whole other side of this story that's frankly more troubling. It's about the big and powerful vested interests.
I don't think it would be a surprise to anyone that there's pressure on legislators and government officials from special interest groups.
Iowa's cancer rate has been climbing in near lockstep with the rising use of nitrogen on farms for decades. Scientists, though, aren't sure if the correlation is causative or merely coincidental.
The status quo in Iowa is working for some people and not working well at all for many others.
Everybody is connected to a farmer. Everybody is connected with somebody who has had cancer, and it's becoming creepy.
Compounding the problem, the EPA reversed its decision in July 2025 to classify parts of major Iowa rivers as impaired due to high nitrate levels. This reversal didn't happen because the water quality improved. Instead, it removed the legal requirement for pollution cleanup plans under the Clean Water Act and reduced federal oversight. This decision came shortly after Central Iowa Water Works issued and then lifted its first ever lawn watering ban due to dangerously high nitrate levels in local rivers. Not only is regulation being rolled back, but efforts to inform the public have also been actively stifled. Email records show more than $400,000 in funding intended for public outreach and education about water quality reports was removed without explanation. As a result, planned community meetings and discussions on the study's findings were abruptly canceled. This lack of transparency and regulation benefits powerful agricultural interests. According to the Iowa Environmental Council, 96% of Iowa's drinking water providers lack the ability to remove nitrates. Yet the Farm Bureau and other agricultural groups continue to oppose rules that would limit fertilizer use.
The federal government regulates most industries that pollute the water, but not farmers who grow corn, even though fertilizer is polluting drinking water, rivers, and the ocean. I'm Emily Havik. I've spent the past year investigating farm runoff in Iowa, a state where the ag industry is so powerful, even asking people about regulation sounds like this.
I can't answer that question.
Oh, don't include that.
Yeah, I can't comment on.
Rather than make farmers change, the state tries to coax them to adopt voluntary conservation tools. One tool the state pays for is called a saturated buffer. It sits on the edge of a field like this one and catches polluted water, cleaning some of it before it reaches the waterway. But in Iowa, the devices aren't as effective as advertised. APM Reports got designs for dozens of these devices. We found that almost 9 out of 10 fell short of federal guidelines meant to make sure they work as intended. Even if they all worked well, the state has only installed enough to cut 1/64th of 1% of Iowa's annual nitrogen pollution load. There are other ways to reduce nitrogen pollution, but they're hard, and they're all completely optional.
The resistance to change persists even though viable solutions exist. According to Matt Lieben, a retired Iowa State agronomy professor, we already know how to grow food with less pollution. He argues, however, the solution goes against the financial interests of companies selling fertilizer, hybrid seeds, and animal feed. Lehman's own research project, Marston Farm, provided a compelling alternative. It showed rotating corn and soy crops with nitrogen regenerating crops like alfalfa and rye could increase farmers' income while cutting nitrogen fertilizer use by 85%. This method of crop rotation was common before synthetic fertilizers became widely available. Ultimately, while water quality remains a critical local issue in Iowa, the consequences extend far beyond the state's borders. This polluted water travels more than 1,000 miles downriver to the Gulf of Mexico, creating a dead zone the size of New Jersey, where no marine life can survive.
The Faroe Islands, a Nordic archipelago, feature dramatic landscapes, horseback rides, warm saunas, ocean dips, quaint villages, and the quirky yellowfish roundabout. UNN Field Messenger Susan shares their charm.
Hello, this is Field Messenger Susan for UNN. I've traveled to Faroe Islands and I've just come out of the sauna. And as you can see behind me, here's a lovely fjord. And here is the sauna. But there's plenty more things you can do here on the Faroe Islands, and let me show you. The Faroe Islands lay in the North Atlantic Ocean, halfway between Norway, Iceland and Scotland. Tórshavn is the world's smallest capital. In the old town of Tórshavn you find one of the oldest parliamentary meeting places in the world. Here at Tinganes, the Faroese parliament gathered as early as the Viking ages. The narrow lanes, grass-roofed houses and the red wooden buildings reflect centuries of history, where fishermen, traders and politicians shaped the island's destiny. It is very popular to go horseback riding here on the island. But if you don't like horses, you can always go in the world's first underwater roundabout called the jellyfish. Faroe 18 islands are connected sometimes by boat, sometimes by bridges, but recently also by tunnels, and hence you find the first roundabout underneath water. Today, the old town is still alive, home to the Faroese government, but also regular folks. A peaceful place to wander where past and present meet in the heart of Faroe's capital. This is Field Messenger Susan signing off from Tórshavn.
In 1938, a horse named Blackie swam across the San Francisco Bay, beating 2 Olympic swimmers and becoming a local legend. UNN Field Messenger Ruth has the full story.
This is Ruth from Marin County, California. The town of Tiburon sits on Richardson Bay near San Francisco. The Central Park has a metal statue of a famous swayback horse called Blackie the Wonder Horse that had swum across the San Francisco Bay in the 1930s. The horse was serving with the United States Cavalry in the Yosemite area of California and was later owned by Watson and Roberts. They had a bet that Blackie could beat 2 top Olympic swimmers swimming across the San Francisco Bay in October 1938, and that Blackie would win, even towing Mr. Roberts, a non-swimmer. Blackie, the young 5-year-old horse, swam the 1.4-kilometer race distance from Sausalito to the San Francisco side in 23 minutes, beating the swimmers who swam with him. Later, he was adopted by the Connell brothers, who kept Blackie in Tiburon near the railway track and the main road. Children and residents fed him treats and loved the horse as he was very gentle and kind. When he died in 1966, he was buried in a special area of Blackie's Field, thanks to Sam Shapiro, the treasurer of the city, who bought the land and preserved his memory with a special memorial and sculpture to this much-loved horse by the people and children of Tiburon. When you visit the town, the metal sculpture created by Albert Guibarra is a landmark and still very much loved and enjoyed by children sitting on the swayback statue of Blackie the Wonder Horse. Thank you for listening. This is Ruth in Marin County.
In Istanbul's busy streets, cats roam freely throughout the city. UNN Field Messenger Rick observes how these independent city dwellers have become both companions and cultural icons.
Hi there, how you all doing? Excited to share our journey with you. We're here in Phoenix on our way through Istanbul to Nairobi, Kenya for our African safari.
Here in Istanbul, a city where cats have become both companions and guardians of daily life. For centuries, Istanbul has been called the City of Cats. The bond began long ago in the Byzantine era and the rise of the Ottoman world. Cats were treasured not only for their beauty, but for their gifts as protectors of grain stores, markets, and ships. Ottoman sailors often kept cats aboard their vessels, and when the ships returned to the harbor, many cats stayed behind, weaving themselves into the streets of the city. Over time, a unique relationship blossomed. In Islam, cats are regarded as clean and compassionate creatures. The Prophet Muhammad himself was said to love and protect them. This reverence ensured that cats were never seen as strays or outcasts, but as honored neighbors. Today in Islam, cats are everywhere, lounging on cafe chairs, basking on mosque steps, and wandering through the courtyards. The people care for them communally, leaving food, water, and small wooden shelters throughout the city. When asking who the cats belong to, the answer is simply, they belong to God. Each cat carries a story, a memory of centuries of coexistence. They have become symbols of the city's spirit, free, resilient, and endlessly curious. As my wife and I walked through the streets of Istanbul, we felt the spirit alive in their eyes, keepers of harmony between the seen and unseen. May their spirits walk with us, reminding us to move with grace and dignity through this world of change.
Look at you.
We have 5 at home. 5 kitties.
5.
Really?
Uh-huh.
1 cat, 1 big dog.
Oh.
Kitties. There are cats everywhere in Istanbul. These guys are just having a really relaxing afternoon. Another Kiki.
Yes. Has a pink nose.
Are you guarding us for us?
Yes.
Yes. Hi there.
There's another big fluffy one over there that didn't belong behind that purple. Think it wants ice cream? Your whiskers. That's why now he does.
Hi, big boy. How you doing today, huh? Taking a siesta?
This is Ginger's roll.
Yeah.
Share that off.
Here's another Kiki. Hey, buddy. Hi there. Say hi. Oh, big stretches.
Another one to turn around.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Hi.
There he is. Look, handsome. Get the white nip on his tail.
Mm-hmm. Hi there. Hi, baby.
With love, gratitude, and grace, I close this Field Messenger report from Istanbul, Turkey. United Network News, Field Messenger, Rick Perkins.
Now it's your turn. Join our weekly meetings and become a field messenger. More information is available at our website, unitednetwork.earth. We're UNN, and we're taking back the news.